In the last episode, your first C program made an LED blink on real hardware. Today we go one step further. Today, STM32 talks to Python. This chip is going to send a number, the number 99, to Python on your computer over and over every second. And Python is going to receive it and display it on the screen and also count every message. One new wire, that's all it needs. One new wire. 20 lines of code, and the STM32 becomes a new data source for Python. Let's build it. First, one physical addition, one wire, and this wire connects PA2, which is right here, this one, and that is 1 2 3 4 5, fifth hole, and this connects, and that's on the STM, connects with the RX socket on the ST links. So this is the RX socket, right, this one, and the label is not visible from here, but if you flip it this side, you see that that is RX, and that's exactly where we are going to connect the top one. Alright, so let's do it. This one is a fifth, so I'm going to put this right here. 1 2 3 4 5, and then the next one goes right here, one right here. And now when we connect it this way, the PA2 port right here, that is port A, pin 2. This pin has a special built-in capability called UART TX, transmit. So TX for transmission. And when we configure it correctly in the code, this pin changes the voltages 9600 times per second, and in a specific pattern that represents our data. So we'll talk more about this in a next video. Essentially, we are saying that that is where we are sending our data. And the RX on the ST link stands for receive, and the ST link has a built-in bridge chip that watches this pin. So it measures the voltage patterns that arrive, and it reconstructs the data from that, and it sends that up via the USB-C cable to back to the computer. Okay, so that's it. One thing we are going to is just add one wire and the hardware is ready. Let me explain what this code does. The code has 4 functions. Let me go through each one pointing at the actual lines in the code. Function 1 is the UART underscore init. This function sets up the hardware, and 3 things happen. The RC, AH, BENR, this line, it enables the clock for port A. RCC here stands for reset and clock control. It is the chip's power management system. And this line right here, it switches the port A on. And why? Because if you remember, by default every peripheral is off to save power, and the port PA2 that we are interested in lives on port A, so we switch it on here, this particular line. Next, the line below it, which is this one. What we do here is we enable USART2. The USART stands for Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. It is the hardware inside the chip that handles serial communications automatically. And by this line of code, we power it on. Next, look at these lines. So here we configure PA2 as an alternate function. By default, PA2 is a regular GPIO pin, and what these three lines do is they hand PA2 over to USART2 hardware. Now the USART2 controls the voltage of this pin directly by changing it 9600 times per second automatically, and without our code doing anything manually to make this happen. So that's what we are doing in that line. Next is this particular value, 8 million divided by 9600. What we do here is set the baud rate. BRR stands for baud rate register. 8 million is our clock speed, that is 8 megahertz. If we divide that by 9600, that gets us our desired communication speed. And this tells USART2 exactly how long each bit should last. Next is USART CR1. Here we enable the transmitter and start USART2. TE here means transmit enable, UE means USART enable. And after this line, the USART2 is live and ready to send. Next is function 2, which is this one, send character, UART send char. The while loop is written here. So what happens is that this line, it waits. The TXE in here means transmit register empty. It's a flag inside of USART2 that says, hey, I'm done sending the previous character, ready for the next one. I'll wait here until the USART2 is free. And then down below, here we load our character into the TDR, that is the transmit data register. The moment we write here, the USART2 takes over and sends it bit by bit on PA2. And our code moves on immediately. USART2 handles the rest in hardware. The function 3 is the UART send string. And if you look at this line, it's just one line, and what it does is it walks through the string character by character, send each one, and stop when you hit the end of the string. The asterisk, it dereferences the pointer, gets the actual character, and the double plus, it moves to next character. Function 4 is the delay, and in this function we are introducing a delay, so we are roughly counting to 1 million to get us roughly 1 second between messages. So the word volatile, it stops the compiler from being clever and skipping this loop entirely. And finally main, it calls where we call the UART unit. It sets everything up once, and then we have the while loop. So what it does is it sends 99 followed by a carriage return and a new line, then waits for a second and repeats. So the \r and \n right here, these are invisible characters. The carriage return moves the cursor to start of a line, and the new line, which is \n, that new line moves down one line. So together they tell Python's readline function this message is complete. So that's the entire program. Flash it to the chip, open the VS Code terminal and run PIO space run target upload. And as this runs, compiles, program started, program finished, verified OK. That is confirming that the chip received it correctly. The compiling part above it was converting C to machine code. Then programming started. This part right here, that was writing to flash. Verified OK, just confirms that it received correctly. Awesome. The STM32 is now running, and PA2 is changing voltages 9600 times per second, sending the number 99 repeatedly. We can't see it yet because we haven't set up the Python side. Now Python, create a new file. If you go to the hardware conversations, click on src and click on this button, new file, and name it receive underscore 99.py. I already have the file here and it is open. And you can copy this code from GitHub. Let me explain the key lines. Import serial. This is Pyserial, the library that lets Python talk with serial ports. If you get a module not found error, you probably want to install Pyserial. The next is glob.glob right here. Dev cu.usb modem. This automatically finds the ST-Link serial port on the computer. The asterisk is a wildcard. It matches any port name starting with dev cu USB modem. And on Windows, this would be COM3 or COM2 or COM4 instead. Serial.serials right here. This opens the serial port at 9600 baud, which is the same speed as the STM32 is sending. So both must agree on the speed. It's like two people agreeing to speak at the same pace. Read line right here. This waits until a complete line arrives, ending with a new line, then returns it as bytes. The decode UTF-8 converts the bytes to a Python string. The strip removes the carriage return and new line at the end, and then we simply print it with a message counter. So here I have the Mac terminal open. Note that I am not in the VS Code terminal. Once I'm there, I'm going to run the file python3 path to the file receive underscore 99.py and run it. And here you see we have the numbers coming in. So the STM is now talking with Python. Amazing. And the chip is sending a number to Python, and this is live. You see 99, and after each second we get a number. Amazing, isn't it? Let's think about what actually happened here, because it's more interesting than it looks. The number 99 didn't actually travel down that wire. Nothing physical ever moved. What happened was this: the STM32 changed the voltage on PA2 pin in a very specific pattern: high, low, high, 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 low, low, high, representing the ASCII code for the character 9, repeated twice for 99. That voltage pattern traveled as an electrical signal down the jumper wires to ST-Link, and then at ST-Link it was measured at 96,000 times per second. High voltage, it was recorded as 1. Low voltage, it was recorded as 0. After 8 measurements, it had constructed one character. And that character traveled up the USB cable as USB data packets to your computer, and your computer then exposed it as a virtual serial port. Python read it from that port, decoded the bytes back to characters, and printed the string 99 on your screen. So, actually, what happened was this: voltage changes on wire, measured at the right time, interpreted according to agreed rules. That's all data communication is at any scale, be it Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or the internet. Same principle, different speeds, different medium, and different concept you'll use. You didn't just run a program today. You understood something fundamental about how communication works. Congratulations. Quick note for Windows users, two differences. One, your serial port name. Instead of using dev, CU USB modem, uh, Windows uses COM3 or COM4, so you want to check the device manager to find your exact port name and change the glob line in Python script to ports is equal to glob.glob and within quotes com star. Next, running Python. So use Python instead of Python 3 and pip instead of pip3. Everything else, the C code, the wiring, the concept is identical. One last thing, why did I choose the number 99? No deep reason. It's two digits, easy to see on the screen, and impossible to confuse with noise or random floating value. In the next episode, we make it even more interesting. Instead of always sending 99, the STM32 will send whatever number it reads from a real sensor. Turn on knob, the number changes. That's episode 2. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Complete code for both C and Python is in GitHub. Thanks for watching.